Hello and welcome to Sunshine for Your Life. When my sister and I were young, my father, who was a great musician, played in various concerts on a bandstand on various beaches. And of course the whole family went along. It was an outing, picnic lunch, we're at the beach and so forth while he's playing this concert. Well, on one of these occasions, my sister and I were playing in the water and a wave took our beach ball away. And we decided to get our beach ball back. We were convinced that we could get our beach ball back. All we had to do was go out after it further and further and further, and we couldn't swim. But there we were. I said, just a few more feet, Priscilla, we can get this beach ball back. But of course the waves started taking it further and further away, and we couldn't swim, and the water was getting deeper and deeper. So we're in a very precarious situation. And we continued to go out after the ball because we continued to think that we could catch it. Suddenly, we heard a voice of a man, and a man appeared. And he was a lifeguard, and he had been watching us, and I'm thankful for that, or the story would never have been here because we might have been dead. He grabbed me with one arm, and he grabbed my sister with the other arm, and he took us back to shore with a stern warning never to chase a beach ball again. Our horrified mother watched from the shore as we were rescued. Now, my sister and I were certainly protected that day. Have you ever stopped to think of how God arranges your life? Everything that happens to you, God can use to fulfill his purposes for your life. God arranges things so you can serve him, and God's word can go forth. God will lead you, and by arranging your life, he will make your calling a reality because you've been called to something. Everybody who is a Christian has been called to something. You need to find out what your calling is and to follow it. Some of the best things that happen to us, we can't even predict. I'm going to read, this is not going to be on the screen, I'm going to read part of Ephesians 1, verses 3 through 7, not the whole thing, but part of it, because it is a little long. But this is what it says. It talks about the blessings that we receive from God. It's a very nice verse. A very nice group of verses. It goes like this: Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who has blessed us with every spiritual blessing in the heavenly places in Christ, just as he chose us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love, having predestined us to adoption as sons by Jesus Christ to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will. In him we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins, according to the riches of his grace. Now, what is it saying? We have been chosen by God before the foundation of God. And that, of course, would be reaffirmed if we read Psalm 139, which I bring in every so often, because it talks in length about some of the same things. You are known by God. You are chosen by God. God knows everything that's ever going to happen to you. He knows what problems you're going to have. He knows how he's going to help you with those problems and how they're going to resolve. So it's saying basically the same thing here. Blessed be God who has chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love, having predestined us to adoption as sons by Jesus Christ. So we have been predestined to adoption. This is important. As Christians, we are a minority. You know, this country used to be a Christian country. It really isn't anymore, not the way that I'm looking at it. It used to be a Christian country, but we're now a minority in this world. And yet Ephesians tells us that we possess spiritual blessings. We have been chosen from before the foundation of the world. We have been adopted into God's family. We have been redeemed from sin, and we are seated with him in the heavenlies. Remember that he looks at us as the completed package. We need not despair being a minority, for we have a heavenly citizenship, and he will guide us and protect us and meet our needs as we do his work. He has opened up a door for us that no man can shut, and we will walk through that door and do his work. When we serve God, God will anoint us to do what we need to do. If you understand that God has brought you this far, he will take you the rest of the way and protect you. When I was a college professor, I had to drive from my apartment to my office crossing a busy intersection. This is an example of how we get protected. So I was driving along and I went through this intersection every single day. It was never a problem. I just followed the lights, and one day I had the green light to cross the intersection, but my foot would not go on the gas pedal. I thought to myself, what's the matter? My foot is not going on the gas pedal. I'm sitting in my car and I'm stabbing with my right foot to try to find the gas pedal. I would get it on the gas pedal. It would be pushed off. Well, this made absolutely no sense to me, and I kept trying to put my foot on the gas pedal, and it kept being pushed off. Well, obviously, God was doing it. I was very frustrated, and I looked up and I saw a car going so fast. He had the red light. I had the green light, so I was ready to go. But I saw the car. He was going so fast, it actually looked like a blur to me. And I knew that had I been able to go ahead, I would have been right in his path. He would have smashed right into me. I would not have been able to avoid him, and I probably would have been killed. After he passed, I easily put my foot on the gas pedal. It went, there was no problems. I passed the intersection and I went to my office. So that's an example of angelic protection, or some kind of a protection, because I was not allowed to go into the intersection when I tried, and I had no idea this man was coming. When the danger was past, then I was all right, then I could drive again. God shows us his love through his protection. Before I moved to Keene, my sister and I went to a chapel service, and I was preaching at the chapel service, and it was supposed to snow later, but it had an early start. The snow came much earlier than we expected, and we left as soon as we could, but by that time, the snow was coming hot and heavy, all except the area of the road where I was driving. I've never seen anything like it. I was driving a car, and the right side of the road where I was driving was completely bare. The snow was all around us, falling all around us. None of it fell on the side of the road where I was driving. So in the middle of a massive snowstorm, I'm driving on dry ground. And it didn't last all the way to where I was going, but most of the way to where I was going. And then we started seeing some flakes that were landing in front of us. But most of the time, I drove home without any snow landing on that side of the road. Now, it doesn't make much sense, does it? But that's the way it was. I'm not making it up. God protected us, and we were very thankful for that protection. God has a plan for your life. So how does this happen? First, you trust God. You rely on him because you know he has a plan for your life, and you don't have to second guess God because he's going to allow you to serve him wherever you are. God will direct your life. He will lead you to various places. He will have you meet certain people, whoever he wants you to meet. He will give you certain opportunities, and when you go through those doors that he opens up for you, then the world opens for you and you can serve him. Other doors will open also, and you are walking your own journey, weaving your own way and forming your own legacy. Now remember, and this I'm going to start with some scripture verses here. Romans 8:28. This is what it says. This is the first verse. All things work to good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose. I'll read that again. All things work to good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose. So no matter what kind of a situation that you are in some way it will work for your good. The second verse, which I'm going to put up now, is Jeremiah 29:11. And this is what it says. Jeremiah 29:11. I know the thoughts that I think toward you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. And let me read that again. I know the thoughts that I think toward you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. That verse is quoted in many, many sermons because it's true and it gives us a lot of hope. God thinks good things towards you. You may be having a problem. You may be doing things you're not supposed to do, and you know that, but he still loves you. He's not going to stop loving you. And the Bible says he has plans for you, and these plans are good plans. They're not plans based on evil. They're plans based on good. And if you follow them, he will give you a future and a hope. And this is what we all want. You have a future, you have a hope. If you are faithful, God will bring about your purpose, and you'll have that purpose. Nothing can stop God's plans for you if you are faithful. It's an easy way. It's easy to get confused in life because there are so many choices. But listen to his voice and rely on his word, and he will be there for you. So I'm going to close with the third verse. This is Joshua 1:9, and this is what it says. Joshua 1:9, the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. I'll read that again. The Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Now that's not the whole thing, so I'm going to read the whole thing. Be strong and of good courage. Do not be afraid, nor be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. So what do you look forward to? What's exciting in your life? You have a God that loves you. You have a God that has a purpose for you. You have a God that will lead you to that purpose. He will give you the talents and the abilities to do what it is, whatever your purpose is. He's never going to leave you. He's never going to forsake you. And you don't have to be dismayed, and you don't have to be afraid, because he's always going to be with you. And he has wonderful plans for you. And these plans are not going to be shortchanged by anything that happens in the world or anything that happens to you, as long as you are following him. So you don't have to be afraid. You can have hope, because the Bible is full of hope. So I'm going to close it here. We'll be doing something else next week. Please join me then.